Hello and welcome to this episode of How to Start, Grow and Monetize Your Podcast. Me, James Burtt, and him, the podpreneur, Alex Chisnall, launcher, creator of many a great podcast, the creator of Screw It, Just Do It, and also the co-founder of what is sure to be the UK's best business event, Festival of Entrepreneurs. If you haven't found out about this yet, it is coming to the UK in October. 2 days up at the NEC in Birmingham. If you're an entrepreneur or business owner, you are going to want to be there. The lineup is unbelievable. I'm saying it on Al's behalf because he can't say it because it just sounds like he's bragging, but I can say it because I know what's going on and I've seen the lineup and it's unbelievable. Click the link in the show notes. You should definitely be there. Right, today on the podcast, we are talking about the 5 podcast tools that we cannot live without in 2025. When me and Al started, right, many years ago, cast your mind back, harp sound effect, insert harp sound effect there, in 2017, this was a very manual gig, wasn't it? Podcasting was quite hard work. It was very labor intensive. It was very manual. It has become so much easier over the last couple of years. Now it has become easier to make it. It's become more difficult to get it to be found and listened to and to consumed and to find an audience for it because it's never been easier to make stuff, but never, probably more difficult to get attention for that stuff. But we're going to run through the tools that you could be utilizing. These are the 2025 best tools that we are using in the podcasting space right now. I'm going to kick us off with the first one. I'm going to go with Autopod. Now, if you are this is not relevant for every podcast creator, but Autopod is a brilliant AI-driven tool, which is created by a company called Lemon Squeezy, which I just think is a brilliant brand name. It's great. So it is basically, it will do automatic edits of multi-cam podcast episodes. Now, again, if you're just recording solo stuff, if you're recording in your bedroom, if you are someone who's just doing stuff online, much less relevant. But if you are someone who's taking the step to take your content to the next level, you've got multiple cameras, then Autopod is amazing. Effectively and essentially what it will do is it will take, let's say, for example, when me and Al are normally in a studio together, we have a three camera setup. So it'll be a close up on me, a close up on Al, and what's called a wide shot, which shows both people. Now, what Autopod will do is by default, it will run through all of the content. When I'm talking, in the majority of time, it will cut to me. When Al is talking, it will cut to Al. And when we're sort of having a back and forth, it will cut to that wide shot. But it does it automatically for you. Now, previously, again, this goes back to the point I made earlier about how manual it used to be. That was an editor's time to sit there and go through 60 minutes worth of content and go, out, point to Al's cam, point to James's cam, point to the wide cam. This now does it for you. And if you run every hour of content, it takes about 90 seconds to ingest it and cut it up. It's unbelievably powerful. Now, of course, you need to go in and finesse it a little bit. Or, if I'm talking, but I'm making a joke and Al pulls a silly face, which happens quite often, by the way, cue silly face. And I wanted it to feature Al, I would manually, or my editor or one of our editors would have to cut to that shot, but it will get you 95% of the way there in a matter of minutes. So if you are doing multi-cam, multi-track, in-person recordings, Autopod, I would say, is an absolute no-brainer. Tool number 2 is Riverside. Alex Chisnall, sales pitch me, baby, on Riverside.
Riverside is what we're using right now, in fact, to record this podcast. It is basically a portable podcast studio, is my favorite way of describing it to people who are, rather than just saying it's like Zoom, but better, which is what I used to say.
Which it also is.
People are like, why can't we just use Zoom? And I'm like, this is a far better experience. And look, we actually used this, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years ago, and they've massively, we stopped using it and revisited it because it has improved massively. The experience is fantastic. The quality of the audio and the video is really good. You've got stuff like echo cancellation buttons, which we utilized earlier because there was an echo on this recording. His end, not mine. But you've got the ability to bring your guests onto camera, but you've got them in a little green room like you see on a Graham Norton show, that they're sat there in the back, so they're not live. You can bring them on screen. All those things that enhance the guest experience, I would say, and the experience from a host's point of view. It's also got, in the advent of AI, it's got a bunch of tools, I would say, that it's added on, it's bolted on. And it's only, I can't remember what we even pay for Riverside, but it's only something like $20 a month, isn't it? Or $25 a month.
Something like that, yeah. It's not
a lot of money. the experience. And you've got different versions that you could buy, but it basically just gives you more storage, more bells and whistles. But you've got things like on Riverside now that it will transcribe the episode for you. So the episode that we're recording now, you will get a transcription, so a word by word account of what we've written. Why is that useful? Because you can then go through that and just pick out, the different points where you want to start the podcast, where you want it to end, what are some really good quotes you want to pull out. You can highlight them, share that with your team. It's also got the ability to create clips, so short form clips. It's got an AI tool that will clip those up for you, different video moments that you can put out there again. So again, I would always say with these things, review them, because not everything to do with AI is 100% correct or done 100% correctly. Fact check things. We've had that crop up a couple of times. I don't know if you have as well, with slightly misleading information. But again, with the clips, I've gone back and you just pick out the ones that you have the context for, because sometimes you're lacking the context. It would just band together different phrases that sound, really good in its algorithm. So I would say for all of these tools, they're fantastic, but you still need, it's the human leveraging that technology and overseeing that technology that will win.
Just wanted to take a quick minute to say a big thank you for watching this podcast. If you are thinking about starting your own podcast to grow your brand or your business, then we would love to help you out. Yourpodcastcourse.com is a place where you can find 55 on-demand videos. There's trainings, there's blueprints, there's guides, there's cheat sheets, there's downloads. Everything that you need to utilize and to start your own powerful podcast is in there right now.
It's guaranteed for 7 days. So if you don't like it, we'll return your money, and we're going to start you off with a fantastic offer.
Absolutely. Just because you are consuming this podcast for a limited time only, for the first 25 people only, this is going to be, we're going to give you 50% off yourpodcastcourse.com. Click the link that's in the show notes. There's information there, and it will be 50% off joining the course. As I say, we will walk you through how to start, how to grow, how to monetize your podcast. We'll talk to you about artwork, setup, names, ideal listener profiles, how to get the ideal guest, how you do the interviews, how you do the 14-day launch process, everything you need to utilize and to know to create a powerful podcast. We will tell you. We've done it 400 plus times. We have done some of the most successful podcast launches in Europe at this point in time, and the exact strategy and process that we charge tens of thousands of pounds to our agency clients for, you can get access to through yourpodcastcourse.com. 50% off for a limited time only. Click the link in the show notes now. Cheers. Just one final other thing, because we talked in a previous episode about sort of community. One other cool thing you can now do on Riverside as well is you can invite people, but they are not involved in the recording, but they can watch the live stream. So let's say, for example, if you are recording an episode with like a big time guest in your sector or your niche, you could invite community members to watch that stream happen in real time. So that again would be a great way to engage people. So you can do that all in Riverside. Go check out riverside.fm. It's a very good tool. Third one is Otter.ai. Now, this is a great transcription tool. Now, Al mentioned that Riverside obviously does a transcription itself. Transcriptions are done on varying qualities of, it depends on the system. It depends largely on the accent as well. I mean, if you have a Scottish person on a podcast is going to be a right pain in the butt for any transcription tool, by the way.
No Scottish people ever allowed on podcasts.
No, that's it. That's why they're all banned. But if, for example, if you're not using Riverside, if you're recording in person or you have to record on Zoom for whatever reason, Otter is a great platform. You can upload either a video file or an audio file. I always do the audio file. So by the way, even if you have got a video, if you open it on QuickTime, if you're using an Apple device and just go export as audio only, it will reduce the size by about 250%. So that is a quicker way to get Otter to ingest the content. And then as Al said, it takes it and it transcribes it word for word. Now, it's probably 80% accurate in terms of, again, depends on the accent, depends on the quality of the recording, but it's pretty good. It will get larger, it will get the context of the content at the very least. What you can then do with that, as Al mentioned, you could transcribe it, you could turn it into a blog, you could turn it into a newsletter, you could turn it into social posts, all kinds of clever stuff. It's also from a accessibility perspective, it's really useful. So most of the platforms now will have an automatic transcript delivered as part of it. So if you're listening to the audio on Spotify or Apple, chances are somewhere there will be a transcript that's auto playing, because a lot of the platforms got into trouble for it not being accessible for like deaf people, for example. I know Wondery got into a lot of trouble for that. So having that available is really powerful. Having the transcript in the back end from an SEO perspective can be really useful. So again, but I remember in the days of rev.com where it used to cost you $1 per minute to have somebody actually manually type it out. It cost a fortune. It would take you 48 hours to get it back. Now Otter will transcribe an hour's worth of audio in sub 5 minutes. It's madly powerful. So definitely a good tool to use, Otter.ai. Fourth one I've got is ChatGPT. How are you using ChatGPT? Everywhere, I guess.
We're mates. We go out together. We play
He
paddle
actually
together.
is friends with his ChatGPT. The intros it does in the morning. I was at our house last time we recorded, and we went on to ChatGPT in the morning, and it was like, "Yo, Al, what's going on in the pool massive today? We've been cold dipping yet or what, bro?" And I was like, "Oh my god, it literally knows you so well. What time we played paddle and golf today? It's mad."
Yeah, no, we're still getting on really, really well. He's introduced me to some of his other friends now as well, and they've taken over my life. No, so the way I'm using it, it's all about the prompt, isn't it? As you kind of learn, it's the instructions that you give it, is the quality of the instructions that you give ChatGPT results in the quality of the answers that it gives you ultimately. So I think for me, it's working on like bigger picture stuff where I find it really useful. So working on pitch decks for clients, working on strategy for different projects that we're working on as well. As a research tool to get that research, review that research, then go back with even more in-depth prompts to kind of flesh out those ideas, to structure things, put timelines to things. And I think it's just the speed that you get this stuff back compared to trying to do all that manually. I think it's helpful with social media. But again, I think you still need to go back and put a personal touch. Yes, it can help you structure posts, but ultimately, I think you need to, even if it's as charismatic as mine, you still need to put your own personality into whatever you're writing. And I tell my girls this as well, who are teenagers, and I'm asking them, how much does your school, how much are you using ChatGPT at school and stuff like that? And they're all using it now. But I'm like, don't just, ask it to do some research and then just submit that. Go back, review it, whether they listen to me or not. Okay, of course, it's neither here nor there. But that's what I'm trying to say. Don't just take it, ad read that this is the answer. Like, we've had a couple of even research bits, and I've checked it with the guests now before we go live. Like, it's given me just pulled out some research, some bios for the guests, right? The biographies of the guests, and then I'll turn that into an introduction. I'll go, can I just check with you? Did you work at Procter and Gamble and Kellogg? And they go, no. And I'm like, where the hell's he got that from then? And you're like, right, hang on, let me rewrite that. But it's done that twice now. So it just goes to show it's a great tool for research and strategy and social media. Those are probably the three main things that I would say I'm using it for. How about yourself?
Yeah, from a workflow perspective, we're really heavily using it. So we used to, when we were editing before, we would do all of the show notes were manually written by a producer. All of the key moment timings were written by a producer. All of the choices of beta tested thumbnails are written by a producer, all that kind of stuff. That's now all entirely gone. I think we might have done a previous episode. It's definitely in yourpodcastcourse.com. There's a whole section on how to utilize ChatGPT to basically do 90% of the legwork for you. I get it to do show notes. I get it to do a YouTube description, which is different to the show notes. I get it to pull out the key moments and timings for the chapters. I get it to give me 3 beta test thumbnail wordings. I get it to tell me what should be on those thumbnails. I get it to, all that kind of stuff that was very manual before. We're doing all of that with it. And again, if you can put it into one single prompt and it will just go and do all that stuff for you. I like to stop it. I do one prompt at a time. Well, I've got it saved. It sounds daft, but I've got it saved as a Google Doc. and then I manually put it in, because if it goes wrong at some point, you can see where it's going wrong, or you can flesh out improvements as you go along. Because I did at one point, I was like, do this thing, then do this, then do this, then do this. And it was good, but it wasn't great. So again, you said it a minute ago, the quality of the output of ChatGPT is dependent and predicated on the quality of the input. And that's reliant on the person putting it in. So don't, it's an accelerator, but don't use it instead of your brain, and don't use it instead of your common sense. And definitely don't sense check it. Definitely don't not sense check it.
And to wrap things up, the fifth AI tool that we're using is My Brain, and so we've been using that now for 6 years that we've had the agency, and things have really deteriorated on that front.
It's going very quickly downhill, isn't it? From what I've seen, the final tool of all of them is, we talked about this in a previous episode, Spotify for Creators. If you're looking to upload your content from an RSS feed, if you haven't yet done it, get onto Spotify for Creators. If you already have even got a show, and we do this, we use a platform called Captivate, because that's a better user experience from an agency perspective. So we upload all via Captivate, but each of our clients has got their own Spotify account, so we can make those adjustments and those tweaks individually. So check out Spotify for Creators as well. So the top 5 tools that we're using, and we can't live without in 2025: Autopod, Riverside, Otter.ai, Captivate, and ChatGPT. If you've enjoyed this episode, please feel free to leave us a 5-star review wherever you download your podcast. And if you're thinking, hey, I need more information about all that stuff, we cover all of these tools in more detail over on our very, very cost-effective training course. You can go and access 55 on-demand videos, cheat sheets, blueprints, guides, and all that kind of good stuff. yourpodcastcourse.com. We'll see you on the next pod.